Under the burning sun of Jamaica's plantations, where the sound of sugarcane being chopped was drowned only by the crack of a whip, one man rose from silence, not with a sword, not with an army, not with wealth, but with words. Words so powerful that they shook an empire. Words so dangerous that Britain feared him more than any rebel. This is the story of Samuel Sharpe, the enslaved preacher who ignited the greatest uprising in Jamaican history and forced an entire nation to abolish slavery forever. This is Black History Unlocked, your gateway to the greatest stories never told. If you're ready for truth, power, and inspiration, hit subscribe, like, and share, and let the journey begin. The story begins in the early 1800s, in the colony of Jamaica, the jewel of Britain's Caribbean empire. A land of green mountains, rolling sugar plantations, and unimaginable cruelty. Hundreds of thousands of Africans had been forced here, chained in the darkness of ships, to work for life on the European-owned estates. But even in this world of despair, hope had a name. Samuel Sharpe. Born enslaved around 1780, Sharpe grew up on the plantations of Montego Bay. He was small in frame, gentle in voice, and carried a calm, observant expression, eyes that always looked as if they were studying the world, searching for something deeper. Those who knew him said he spoke softly, but his words stayed in the mind long after he finished speaking. He learned to read, an extremely rare privilege for an enslaved man. The Bible became his refuge, his shield, and his weapon. By the time he was a young adult, Sharpe was a Baptist deacon, respected in the church, trusted by the enslaved community, and quietly feared by the plantation owners who sensed his influence. Sharpe was not a fighter. He did not believe rebellion had to begin with blood. He believed the most powerful weapon was unity, people standing together as one. And he chose the perfect moment. In 1831, a rumor spread across Jamaica. Britain, many believed, was close to passing a law to end slavery. But the plantation owners, desperate to keep their profits, refused to obey. They pretended nothing would change. They denied every whisper of freedom. Sharpe saw the moment like a spark on dry grass. He traveled secretly from plantation to plantation, walking late at night, reciting scripture by lantern light, preaching not only faith, but liberation. His meetings were disguised as prayer gatherings, but his message was unmistakable. We were all created equal in the sight of God, he said. No man has the right to own another. Freedom is our birthright. These words spread like wildfire. By December, 20,000 enslaved people across Jamaica carried Sharpe's message in their hearts. He proposed a plan that had never been attempted before. A peaceful general strike, no revolts, no burning, no killing, just refusal, total refusal. No work until Britain granted their freedom. It was a brilliant plan, a rebellion without violence. a revolution built on unity, but plantation owners reacted with fury before the strike even began. On Christmas Day, 1831, the tension snapped. A small conflict turned into flames. As the owners armed themselves, frightened workers set a plantation estate on fire. The fire jumped to another and another, and soon the sky above western Jamaica glowed red. The peaceful protest Sharpe envisioned had become the largest uprising in the island's history. Britain panicked. The colonial government declared war. Soldiers marched, cannons roared, rebel leaders were hunted, and the uprising, though massive, was crushed by force. Samuel Sharpe surrendered voluntarily. He said, "I wished only for freedom. I meant not to shed blood." His calmness stunned even his captors. During his trial, the court tried to break him. They accused him of treason, of rebellion, of inspiring thousands to resist, but Sharpe did not deny it. With dignity, he replied, "My spirit is as free as the wind. Though I am enslaved, in truth I am free. On one day, my people will be free also." He was sentenced to death. In May 1832, Samuel Sharpe was taken to the gallows in Montego Bay. Crowds gathered, some wept, some watched silently. Sharpe climbed the steps with no fear in his face, only the calm certainty of a man who knew his mission was complete. Before he was executed, he spoke his final words, "I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live my life in slavery." When the rope broke his neck, the British Empire also broke something else, its last defense of the slave system. The uprising he sparked had shaken the world. Newspapers in Britain were horrified by the brutality with which the rebellion was crushed. Members of Parliament openly declared that such violence could never happen again. Samuel Sharpe's strike, though transformed into a rebellion, had proved one truth: slavery was unsustainable. Slavery was immoral. Slavery had to end. One year later, in 1833, the British government voted to abolish slavery throughout the entire empire. And in 1834, freedom became law. Samuel Sharpe never lived to see it, but the world remembered his sacrifice. Today, he is honored as one of Jamaica's national heroes. Statues stand in his memory, skulls bear his name. His words are carved into stone, and the people he fought for, his descendants, walk free. He defeated the empire without an army. He ended centuries of suffering not through violence, but through courage. His legacy lives not in the flames of rebellion, but in the quiet strength of his conviction. Samuel Sharpe proved that sometimes the most powerful revolution begins not with a sword, but with a sermon. The story of Jamaica changed because one man believed that even the most broken chains can be shattered by faith, unity, and the unshakable desire to be free. And that is the legacy of Samuel Sharpe, the preacher who ended slavery in Jamaica, the man whose quiet voice shook an empire,